Hi folks, Fuerev here. In a March 31st article in the Christian Post titled "New Campaign, Pray for an Atheist," a Facebook campaign is reported on. The Facebook campaign is engineered to get Christians to pray for atheists. In an attempt, I suppose, to stir up some controversy around this issue, the reporter Lillian Kwan, interviews an author by the name of James Spiegel, who wrote a book titled "The Making of an Atheist." Some of the things that James Spiegel has to say might be of interest to you. First, atheism is not at all a consequence of intellectual doubts. These are mere symptoms of the root cause, moral rebellion. For the atheist, the missing ingredient is not evidence, but obedience. Next, after all, if God does exist, then it would be an enormous benefit to atheists if they come to believe this. Therefore, I would ask atheists to respect my right to do what I want in the privacy of my own home as I kneel in prayer on their behalf. James Spiegel is attempting to come off as being humble in his approach against what he calls new atheism. I personally think that it's disingenuous. Now, James Spiegel is marketing his book online, and the entire table of contents and introduction to his book, which I will link, is available online. And there were some tidbits in his introduction that I'd like to point out in order for you to make a decision for yourself. In discussing whether Christianity and theism are the result of delusion, which of course is a stab at Richard Dawkins' God delusion, he quotes Richard Dawkins in saying this: "If it were ever shown that life on this planet was designed, then I would say it must have been some extraterrestrial intelligence, perhaps following Francis Crick's suggestion of directed panspermia, that life might have been seated on Earth in the nose cone of a rocket, sent from a distant civilization that wanted to spread its form of life around the universe." If you read the introduction, you'll see that the context in which this quote was placed is regarding whether theism is delusional. He uses this quote to say that Richard Dawkins has in fact taken a flight of fancy. He implies that Richard Dawkins actually believes that life was seeded on Earth by little green men, and he uses this to say that atheists in general are just as delusional, if not more so, than theists. He follows that up with this: "To miss the divine import of any one of these aspects of God's creation is to flout reason itself. Yet this is precisely what atheists do, and it points to the fact that other factors give rise to the denial of God. Atheism is not the result of objective assessment of evidence, but of stubborn disobedience. It does not arise from the careful application of reason, but from willful rebellion. Atheism is the suppression of truth by wickedness, the cognitive consequence of immorality. In short, it is sin that is the mother of unbelief." So James Spiegel's argument is, first of all, I'm rubber, you're glue, and second, that atheism has nothing to do with rational thinking. In fact, that regardless of whether the arguments that are made by atheists are rational or otherwise, none of that bears any significance in comparison to the state of mind of atheists themselves. Yes, this is an ad hominem argument. Apparently, an entire book full of one big ad hominem argument. I'm not impressed. However, I encourage you to go and read the introduction for yourselves. I haven't read this book yet. I think I might be picking it up from the local library and checking it out, and when I do, I'll come back with a more full report. In the meantime, if any of you have read this book, please feel free to PM me or leave a comment telling me what you thought about it and about his argument. I'd certainly love to hear about it, but for the time being, I'm not very impressed. Take care out there. Good luck.